just pop it on your.
We'll do the best we can. But first, this is big federal budget week. I can't resist making a comment about the federal budget. Everyone is making a comment, but this is easy. The federal budget reminds me of my adolescent days, my youth. And on my bedroom walls, I had all sorts of posters. Some were pages from the Playboy magazine. Some were photos of fast cars. And in one particular poster I clearly remember, around budget time, I remember this one was a poster that came from the Los Angeles Chamber of Commerce. And it was titled, "Living at the government expense is very expensive." And it had the figures showing that the efficiency of governments is generally about 12.5%. So which indicated that for every dollar the government spends, it has to raise 8. So the budget comes along and Prime Minister Albo announces that we are all of us will get $150. But he says that doesn't matter because it's only totalled up, it only adds up to 1.8 billion. So forget about it, it's not really expensive. But when you factor in and multiply that by 8, it comes out at $14.4 billion. Now, if we had an honest government, it would simply tax us to raise that extra $14.4 billion, but it doesn't do that. It sneakily rolls it into a larger debt and rolls it over and leaves it to the next generation, which is the generation of our Mannkal scholars. So I think that's absolutely disgusting. So that's there endeth my comments on the federal budget. Thank you. I'm constantly amazed at our Mannkal scholars, and many of them are constantly in touch with us, telling us their exploits and what they're doing around the world, and it's very encouraging. It encourages us to just keep going. And as Jenny says to me, people shouldn't encourage you. You're incorrigible as you are, so don't encourage him. So here we are. Now, my real pleasure tonight is to welcome our noted guest speaker, Professor Geoffrey Blainey. He's well known, of course, as Australia's greatest historian. And an equal welcome also goes to Anne Blainey, who's travelled from Melbourne. And Geoffrey, you celebrated your 95th birthday last week, and this is part of the winding down from the birthday celebration. It's like a side trip to Perth. So thank you for making the distance. It's fantastic. The Wikipedia page describes Geoffrey Blainey as Australia's living treasure, and that if anyone wants to find out about Professor Geoffrey Blainey, the internet is the place to go. It's an outstanding story. So tonight I would like to tell you, just might take 2 or 3 minutes to explain how we first met. I'm not sure whether Geoffrey remembers how we first met, but it was very significant to me. Now, we're going to go back to 1992, when I was at that time running a gold mining company out of Kalgoorlie. And we were in joint venture with another company called Elton Limited at that time. 50-50 joint venture, as you know, they're sometimes difficult, but this was a good one. we'd had some exploration discovery, and we decided to open an underground mine in Coolgardie. There hadn't been an underground mine opened in Coolgardie for 100 years. So we said, that's a very significant event. Let's have a mine opening. And then the discussion was, who should open the mine? With a 50-50 partnership, there's nobody in control. It comes down to this dreadful thing called democracy. So Graham Smith was the chairman of Elton, and I was the chairman of Croesus, so we looked at each other and we said, the way to settle this is each of us write on a piece of paper who we would like to open our mine. And then we fold the piece of paper and we put it in a hat. And we bring in the most attractive girl in the office we ask an independent person to come and pluck from the hat a folded piece of paper, which happened. They unfolded the paper and read loudly that Professor Geoffrey Blainey should be invited. We both cheered. It's mysterious. And we pulled out the other piece of paper and it said, Professor Geoffrey Blainey. Unbelievable. We both had come to the same conclusion. And what a great investment that trip was for us to have you visit us on the day. I think I've got a shot here. There we are. We toured the underground workings. Geoffrey and Anne, we toured it just to get a feel for the underground mine. I think, Geoffrey, on that day you were the best dressed guy underground, and certainly, Anne, you may have been the first woman ever to go underground in Coolgardie. There's only been 2 women before you. So that's an amazing, yeah, if I can work this thing, there we are. So after the underground tour, we came out and Geoffrey pulled the shroud off this wonderful bronze plaque that we'd had there. And there's Graham Smith on the left, lurking in the background there, and we were gathered around the plaque to celebrate the event. Following that, we all went to the Denver City Hotel in the main street of Coolgardie and celebrated. And Geoffrey gave a wonderful, stirring address to all those assembled, to their astonishment. And as one of the miners left, he grasped me by the shoulder and he said, Ron, nobody has ever told me the significance of what I'm doing to the national economy. That's the first time he realised what he was doing as an underground miner had repercussions, and there was a flow on. He was part of the productive Australia that saved us from going bankrupt. The lesson I learnt that day was these people that are productive, we must tell them. Each of us have a role to create a civil society, a productive and a prosperous society, to create something that's really worthwhile. So that's the message I learnt, and we're still putting it into practice. Thank you. That was a great investment to have us there on the day. Now, having given you a bit of a sidetrack there, I'll now hand over to Professor Geoffrey Blainey. Thank you.